Well, that's new entrance music for Chance's Chat tonight. I'm Doc G. Welcome, everybody. This is Chance's Chat. This is for entertainment purposes only, but it also may not be. Go ahead, Chance.
Guys, we got a great show for you tonight. It's going to be a little skitsy because we're unorganized. We don't have a script we follow or anything like that. But the Epstein's list has been released, but from what I'm hearing, it's not the complete list. And so don't worry about that, okay? That's yet to come. What I want to talk about first is, before we get into the intel, is I want to talk about the people who have Martha. Martha has donated for the last 2 weeks, and we thank you very much, Martha, for that. And Dr. Brian has donated every week, and I want to thank you very much for that. And I want to give a very thank you, very loud, boisterous, screaming out loud thank you to Stacy L. Okay?
Oh, she's a friend of mine. Yeah.
She sent me a very nice donation yesterday. Okay? So anyways, she's a very nice lady to do that, and it keeps us going. Okay? It really does. Keeps me going. For God. And we listen to Doc G to help the station. Next week, we will be putting out another guitar raffle. So what guitar? I don't know. I'm going to go out and pick one out of the shop. And it was very successful as a fundraiser. We gave away 2 guitars instead of 1. And the lady that won the one that Doc G had, she is putting it in a display case, and I, of course, signed in the back, and she's putting it in a display case and going to be hanging it on the wall. I thought that was kind of cool. Thank you very much. That would be Jennifer, and thank you, Jennifer. And it's so nice to be able to relate to you people on a first name basis. And I also want to thank every month. I want to thank Brother Dave up in Minnesota. Okay. He always sends a very generous donation to me. People like this are what keeping me going in these very, very hard times. And I am so blessed to have you as family, because that's what we all are here. We're all family. We may be separated by miles, but we're all family. And I have, in turn, been able to bless other people with patches. And so what we're going to have today is at 8:15, the girls are coming on. The ladies are coming on for the stem cell patches. And at 8:45, we will have Doc Wiedemann come on. They will both be allotted 12 minutes because we don't want the healthcare to take over the intel. Right now, both are very important. That's why we're giving them an allotted amount of time. But in order to, keep the viewership satisfied, we have to give them just an allotment of time. We don't want to turn this into a health documentary. There's already going to be one of those shows. Doc Wiedemann is getting it together. He is going to have 2. We're going to have 2 of those shows.
One with the ladies and one with Doc.
Okay, well then that's what we're going to have.
It's in the works right now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In the works. Great. So I will tell you, because I've got the mileage on the. I'm going to be introducing both of those when they start their shows, and I will, bring you guys on board, and I will help get their viewership up. And so please follow us when we do that. And it'll be on Telegram on our private page. If you don't have a link, excuse me. If you don't have a link, send me an email at chancemusic@yahoo.com. again, I want to thank all the contributors. If I left anybody out, it wasn't intentional. There's some people that just contribute a little bit. And you know what? It all adds up. It all helps. And from my heart to you, thank you. Okay? Because we couldn't do this show without it. Okay? Tonight, I, with the help of Wyatt, have solved a 60-year-old mystery that has been questionable to the world. I actually started this journey on my own in the 1970s. And after talking to Wyatt, we put our heads together and I told him, I said, hey, wait a minute, did you know this? And he about fell over. And then I caught you off guard on that one, didn't I? And I want to give a shout out to the YouTube and the TikTok and the Facebook guy, Tyler Hansen. Okay, shout out to Tyler Hansen because he put a video up probably 4 or 5 months ago about this person, and it shows how we've been lied to for a long, long time. We've been lied to before this person supposedly died, but it goes back even further than that. But what I'm trying to say is we have put together the mystery.
We put the
mystery. Mystery that's 60 years old or more. It's a 60-year-old mystery. Now, we're also tonight, we are going to tell you just exactly in this same story who Elon Musk actually is. Okay? Now, there's the information that we figured out, and then there's the other side of the coin. So this is stuff that nobody else has. Nobody else has this stuff. Okay? Nobody. And I've been biting my tongue all week. No, it's not Paul McCartney, but we'll cover that base when we get the music show going. Okay? We'll cover that base soon. But anyway, hi, Carrie Lyle. How do I say that? You know this lady.
Carrie Lee.
Carrie Lee?
Carrie Lee.
Hi, Carrie Lee. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the geopolitical stuff first. No, it's not Junior either. It goes a lot further than that, guys. Further back than that. I just gave you a big clue. So, okay. I'm going to turn it over to Wyatt. I'm very pleased to have Fascinating Brian here tonight, and I know he's been going through some. Everybody's going through some changes right now. We're all facing energy changes and physical trauma. So hang on with us because the next hour and a half we're going to blow your minds. Okay, because nobody has this information. I'm going to turn it over to our very own Edward R. Murrow, Mr. Wyatt. Go ahead, Wyatt.
Thanks, Chance. Hi, everyone. I've got to tell you sure it's only going to be an hour and a half? I mean, we've got a lot to unpack today. But anyway, all right, so straight in. The 20th of February in Minnesota, Republican Representative Draskowski has receipts, affidavits, eviction notices, documents, and is demanding the arrest of Ilhan Omar for crimes of federal tax fraud, immigration fraud, student loan fraud, state violations of perjury, bigamy, incest, kickbacks, and acts of campaign fraud and abuse from East Coast to the Mississippi River, Boston, Washington, New York, Chicago, Florida. So we can expect her arrest pretty soon. On the 22nd of February, a plane load of 78 shackled and handcuffed feds arrived at Gitmo just as the illegal aliens that were sent down to Gitmo into Camp Echo were moved out. And then that was, there was another, interestingly, since the 22nd of February, 4 plane loads of FBI agents have arrived at Gitmo. And that has been since Patel took office as FBI director. And there are more expected. So the purge at the FBI is well and truly underway. And we're all seeing this. This is the live action part of the movie. But a lot of this is not public yet. Now, if that wasn't enough, Dan Bongino accepted the deputy directorship of the FBI. Now, he knows where the bodies are buried, all right? You think about his time in the Secret Service. He was a Secret Service agent for the Obamas and the Clintons. That's going to be very, very interesting. So the other thing is with the FBI, and the release of the Epstein documents that are coming up, it's got Shifty Schiff, Obama, Hillary, Arkansas Bill, among others, very, very nervous because they've all been there, right? And it's the list is not going to be released in its fullness. Pam Bondi said what she saw in the documents was sick. It was sick. So, but what we have to understand is that the Epstein whole honeypot of blackmail and whatnot like that was actually a Mossad operation. Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell was Epstein's handler. Epstein was just an asset. Her father, Robert Maxwell, he is ex-Mossad, but he betrayed every single agency that he ever worked with. But the release of this Epstein file, these Epstein files, is going to end the Khazarian mafia and the cabal's influence over the United States, right? And people are going to get arrested. So Pam Bondi has been accused of slow walking the release. There's a reason for that because there's some stuff in there that is still under investigation. Okay. So she better not FAFO, do the old FAFO thing because the people won't tolerate it. So the concerns over the Israeli influence over President Trump's officials in this administration in particular have arisen. But let's not forget, many of these pro-Israeli hacks that were in President Trump's first administration were all removed because they all exposed them as being warmongers and whatnot like that. And, when you combine this with the Epstein list and whatnot, I got to tell you, that is the end of the Israeli influence in America. And, President Trump on the 4th of March, that's going to be huge. I'll get into that shortly. Now, when it comes to the Epstein list and whatnot, the depravity does not begin and end with Epstein or even P. Diddy for that matter, right? P. Diddy is going to expose the music industry. And it's also going to, along with the stuff that's been going on at Disney, that is going to be the shock of all shocks. And that will bring down Hollywood in its entirety. Watch Mel Gibson for that because he will be probably one of the people who's going to start breaking this stuff. Not to be outdone with all of the display, all of the purge and everything like that, the Pentagon has fired over 5,000 employees or put them on paid leave. And Pete Hegseth was acting on the orders of President Trump and is reconfiguring the general staff, hence the firing of CQ Brown, among others. So the general staff, they're not safe. Okay. The 24th of February, President Trump told every governor in the United States that they need to switch to paper ballots and same-day voting with voter ID. Okay, and proof of citizenship. So, I mean, that's not in executive order yet, but I expect it to be soon. So he's putting the warning out that this is sort of coming. Okay, here's a boom. As part of the movie, President Trump has ordered the shutdown of the US military base at Alexandroupoli in Greece. This is a move that sends NATO into complete meltdown. Okay, Zelensky is scrambling for survival, and the EU is in absolute panic as the globalist war machine crumbles around their ankles. And this is the beginning and the end of the endless wars that America gets itself involved in. And it also ends the cabal's proxy war against Russia by using Zelensky. And Zelensky's days are numbered as it is anyway. So this move is absolutely hobbling NATO. Now, NATO was gone ages ago. It went in the first term of the latter part of President Trump's first term. We're seeing this as part of the movie now, that it's all starting to come into the open. Okay, and the same can be said with the United Nations. Now, so with the cabal-controlled NATO about to collapse, Turkey's Erdogan and Putin are smiling like a pair of Cheshire cats because they know that this is the end of it all right? But we need to watch Syria. I'll get into that shortly. The movie sends clear, or the move, I should say, sends a clear statement to the cabal that America is no longer under their control and that Nasara and Jassara is actually being implemented. As I said last week, Nasara and Jassara is already in effect. We just have not seen it yet, but it's coming. It's coming very, very soon. This move by President Trump effectively sends NATO, which is the wolf in sheep's clothing, and the end of the European Union. Right? It's got to collapse, and the banking system, of the European banking system, is going to collapse, as is the Swiss banking system, because that's where the deep state do their banking. So now, reports of the Pope's death have proven pretty much to be untrue at the present moment. But you've got to remember two things. The first is that the real Pope is dead, right? This is what we're seeing is Pope 2.0, and this is a guy in a mask. This is the And the second thing is, if you cast your mind back to the death of the Queen Elizabeth, the rumours in the weeks of her death, were going around, and they said she's dead, and then they said, oh no, she's not. So this is what we're seeing. This is all part of this. Is soft disclosure. This is to prepare people so that they don't lose their minds over this, I would say. But I got a phone call last night talking about how they're putting a nasal oxygen feed to help him breathe better. Those nasal pipes, not without going down the throat and into toward the lung, they're not going to do anything to make anything. So it's a load of nonsense. But as I say, it's all for show. I got some more joyful news for everybody. Joy Reid. She's been fired from MS and DNC, and the Liberal tears are flowing like you wouldn't believe. So the View's looking like it's going to be cancelled because MSNBC are not going to renew Joy Behar or Whoopi Goldberg's contracts. And they've decided that and to quote, they want to remove toxicity from the show. There you go. Fantastic stuff. So, the View is, it's gone. You might as well say it's history. I'd be very surprised if Sonny Hoyston was able to stay there as well. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's the more joy for everybody. Okay, when it comes to the RV, stop listening to the gurus completely. They are regurgitating stuff that is 6 and 7 and 8 years old. Just stop listening to them. They give dates and they give rates. And, oh, it's going to be this week and it's going to be that week. Just forget about it. This whole thing is not about the RV. This whole thing is about the children. This whole war has been about the children, rescuing the children. It's not about your personal gain. So get out of your greed mentality, please, because I know that there are a few. And while we're talking about the RV situation, Wise, there are people, they're saying, oh, I can't transfer my money out of Wise. Have you updated the app? You've got to keep it updated, okay? They've been updating it twice a week for the last 2 weeks. All right, moving on. The Black Swan event. Excuse me. There'll be multiple events which will make up the Black Swan event, okay? The global, so, it'll be, what's happening with Doge, what's happening on the 4th of March, what's happening in the financial market, what's happening with Fort Knox, all of that. It's all going to be part of that. Now, the global financial shock is inbound. The gold dominoes are falling, all right? The world's gold markets are under siege, and that fallout will rewrite the global financial system. Auditing America's gold holdings will reveal a bombshell. The US is on the brink of auditing its gold reserves, a move that will expose a catastrophic shortfall in the nation's stockpile. When the vaults come up short, the dollar dominance will collapse overnight. Imagine the chaos in the financial world when they learn that America's golden foundation is not as solid as what they had originally thought, right? Now, the London bullion market and COMEX are feeling the heat, because in London, they're battling unprecedented delivery delays for the gold, stretching from a few days up to 60 days. That's a lot in the financial market, right? And at the same time, COMEX is exchanging, the exchange is facing a surge in physical gold demand because everybody's waking up that the paper money that we carry in our pocket is not worth a pinch. So 498 metric tons have been requested for delivery in just 2 months, 15 times the normal amount. So some folks, and mostly likely the United States government, desperately want the real metal, not the paper promise, which is the fiat, right? And the system is cracking under the pressure. Now, the massive currency revaluation of gold is incoming. Whispers from Washington suggest that a gold revaluation is on the horizon. And if the US officially raises its gold value to reflect the market prices, that potentially could put gold over $3,200 US a troy ounce. Now, and it will inject, they're saying, 1 trillion into the treasury. That's a lot of dough. So, and this move would be an absolute game changer, reducing the national debt burdens and shaking the foundations of fiat currency altogether. All right. And there is a race against at the moment against China's gold strategy. China's aggressively stockpiling gold in the hope of challenging the United States and its financial dominance. If the United States stumbles, whether through a disastrous audit or a market disruption, China could seize the moment and the shift of global economic power or dominance would go to them, right? So it's a fine line we're walking. If the gold is missing, if the gold is missing, and they don't add up, there will be a financial meltdown. There's no question about it. Okay, that it's not debatable. The dollar credibility shatters completely. The global markets dump US debt. Inflation skyrockets, destroys purchasing power, and the financial system spirals into chaos. And that will happen like. Now, this is not a market correction. Don't think that it is. This is a collapse, okay, and a financial reckoning. And the countdown for all of this is happening right now. Right? Now, the order on to Fort Knox. The order to Fort Knox was done. Really, the truth of it is that it was done during President Trump's first term by the then Secretary of the Treasury, Stephen Mnuchin. Right? They know exactly how much gold is there, and where it, or how much gold there is, and where it is. But the thing is, a lot of it at that time, I believe, was tungsten that was painted in like gold plated. Okay, I think that was discovered, and that's why nobody ever said anything more about it after that. But the audit has already been done. But this Doge audit is something completely different. Okay, excuse me. So the thing we now have to watch, instead of watching gold, and instead of watching, what's happening in so far as Bitcoin and whatnot like that, we need to shift our focus to watching XRP, which is, the digital gold, because XRP is backing the Treasury, and so is XLM. So we need to watch XRP and XLM. As they go up, we will know more, okay, about what is actually happening. So watch that. And certainly watch the Swiss stock market, okay, because this concerns all of Europe. As I said earlier, the European Union is about to collapse completely, all right? And because we think things are going to happen so soon, and I mean it's very, very soon, get your money out of the bank now, because when you're going to need cash on hand during this period, because the ATMs and whatnot won't be working, all right? Or they'll be emptied so fast, your head will spin. So get money out of the bank so that you can continue to do what you've got to do. Because if they cut down communications, that means all your electronic funds transfer can't be done, right, on your card. You can't buy anything with your card because it requires a phone line, all right? So get cash. Now, the 4th of March. Everybody's been talking about the 4th of March being the biggest day in history that we are going to see. And I'm telling you now, it is. Mark it in your calendar. It's going to be huge. I cannot understate this enough. So FDR, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, will not be remembered well come the 4th of March. I will tell you that now. And it will be and the 4th of March will be a day that you will remember for the rest of your life. Okay? Now, the reason why the 4th of March is so important is that FDR was the last president to be sworn in as president on the 4th of March. Okay? But he wrote an executive order in 1933. It was Executive Order 6102. It was issued on the 5th of April. It prohibited the hoarding of gold coins, bullion, certificates in the United States, requiring citizens to turn their gold in and exchange it for cash. And it was then backed up by the Gold Reserve Act of 1934. And I'll tell you what, a lot of people got prosecuted because they didn't hand over their gold. The whole rationale behind that was to help to strengthen everything because, the country was in depression. What it actually was that with the New Deal and all of the programs that FDR wanted to bring in, he broke the government. They were bankrupt, so he had to steal everybody's gold. And that's partly the reason why President Trump refers to the gold in Fort Knox as the people's gold. Okay. Now, 1935 also saw the commencement of the Social Security Act, and it funded and to fund all of the progressive agenda, as I was just saying. And we're all suffering from that now. So the cabal took over control of the government. Okay, in 1871, they took over the government. They took over the military as well, but they did not have full control of the finance from the finance side of things. With what FDR did from 1933 to 35, with the executive order and the Gold Reserve Act and the New Deal and everything, that was it. America was under complete control of the cabal. That is about to end. Now, the 4th of March is going to be 0 day, in my humble opinion. And the reason for that is because on the 4th of March in 1789, the first Congress of the United States sat, and they declared that the Constitution was in effect. Okay, so that is something nobody else has brought about. So when you look at the symmetry of all of that together, combine that all together, you will see the significance and the importance of the 4th of March and why it is absolutely 0 day. Okay, so people also need to understand that President Trump's address to the joint session of Congress is not the State of the Union. It's a special address. It must be covered by the media. They cannot interrupt him. They cannot talk over him. So I'm telling you, he's going to be making some huge, huge announcements. So, pay close attention to what he says, because this is the mother of all booms, and the ripple effect will occur immediately and will just keep on going for the weeks and months afterwards, right? And as I say, March is going to be a month to remember for the rest of your life. So we're really looking forward to that. What he's going to be saying, I don't know. What I have been told through some of the other information I got is that it's most likely President Trump will be surrounded by United States Marshals. Make of that what you will. I've got a few theories on what could happen, but I'm not willing to share them. Insofar as medbeds are concerned, I'm hearing that the military alliance and the children who were rescued in the tunnels have all now been treated. So that phase is done, and the medbeds are going to roll out to the whales and of the humanitarians and whatnot soon. But this information is not confirmed because we just don't know. Okay, but this gives a little bit of hope to the people who are waiting on medbeds. They are coming. The military alliance personnel have been done. Iraq has not, in fact, revalued its currency in country. A lot of rumors about that are happening. It all is dependent on Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, because he's in talks with the Iraqis now, and we're expecting an announcement soon. That could happen as early as Monday. But there are going to be things in the lead up to the 4th of March, that's for sure. Now, we've got to keep our eyes on Israel as well, because the ceasefire apparently is quite shaky. And that's because, of the ceremonial releases by Hamas, and the Israelis don't like that. And it just seems to me Netanyahu has an itchy trigger finger. But if he decides to scratch that itch I can tell you now, it's not going to end well for him or Israel for that matter. Now, Doge has exposed a guy in Louisiana using 34 different names and collecting $1.1 million in Social Security checks a year. Yeah, that's just one of the many, many, many things, right? Now, we are on two calendars, a movie script and the Q clock, all right? The Global Military Alliance are operating on both the Julian and the Gregorian calendars simultaneously. And that is to create confusion amongst everyone, and they're not just the bad guys. Everything is compartmentalized, right? So only some people within the military alliance know what they're doing, and only what they're doing. It has to be compartmentalized. It's for security reasons. Now, what's happening insofar as the movie, it's all been scripted. It's all meticulously playing out, and nothing has been left to chance, and every contingency has been calculated and is in place. And this is why no guru since 2017, let's say, have been right about a single damn thing about dates and rates. So just ignore them completely. I mean, they're good for giving people hope, but that's about all. But, their information is all regurgitated, as I said earlier. And almost everything, with exception to a few things, are playing out in public right now. And it's all related back to the Q clock. So this is how they're operating things. And unless you can actually work out how they are working the Julian, the Gregorian, the movie script, and the Q clock together, you're not going to know a damn thing. So I know 1%. I don't know which 1%, but I know it. Right? Now I was told to expect the first public arrests to be Shifty Schiff, Drunk Nancy, and Crying Lion Chuck. Now, is that going to happen on the 4th of March? Who knows? Right? It would be a pretty big boom, I'll tell you that, if that happened. And lastly, the 4th of March is the crescendo of this movie. And President Trump is going to be completely different on the 4th of March onwards. And he is going to strike fear into the entire world. And for the people who are awake, we're just going to love him more, if that's even possible, right? So, and this, and I got to say, finally, the absolute final thing is that I am aware that SSP monitors this show. I am aware that the Military Alliance monitor this show. And as Chance and I were talking the other night, we came to the conclusion that, the reason why we get the information that we get and we share is because, the Military Alliance and SSP want us to get that information out to people, all right? Because we're doing it right. We're not giving opium. We're not, trying to enrich ourselves by selling intel. And, I'm really proud to have been able to serve in this way to humanity. But I'm not going to be doing any more intel drops or information drops after today, because I don't think that it's going to be necessary for me to do so, right? Because it's all going to come right in front of your face, whether you're ready for it or not. And so I'm just going to stock up on popcorn and enjoy the show. Thanks, Chance.
Thank you. We appreciate you, Wyatt. Fascinating, Brian. What do you think about all this? What's your input about everything or anything?
Okay, well, here's one fun fact. The fun fact of the day is no picture of the Earth is real. None of them. Because if it was real, you would be seeing all those wonderful ships outside our little bubble, and they would be able to. It's just phenomenal. So it's like, how many lies can you be spoon fed till you're sick? So, but that's not the point. And though it's entertaining. So I've had a nice little chat with my guides and archangels, angelics, and Christ conscious guides. And I found it kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's not that I'm disheartened. It's not that I'm sad, even though I did for like 10, 50 seconds. I actually cried. I just burst into tears and cried. And then I reset myself and I thought, you know what? Why is it so difficult here? Okay. So the reason why we all have difficulties, and this will relate to some of you, but not all of you. This is not your natural state of being. I'm sorry. It just isn't. You're here to help. You're here to ground different types of energetic nodes. Okay. I am used to a plethora of people ideas, very interstellar like, or just not human in general. My bird cage is very expansive. It's easy for me to enjoy the idea that I remember living because I get to go to whatever birdcage I desire. So my freedom in travel is I pick, I choose. Here, not so much. Here, I get up, I go see many more humans. Okay, that's what I see. No matter where I go, just people and animals and nature. Not my natural state of being. I'm used to seeing a lot more diversity. I'm used to seeing more expansive cultures, and I'm used to traveling off planet, far away. So the message from the guides, and this may or may not resonate with a bunch of you, but I'm going to tell you anyways. So they wanted me to give you an alternate perspective of the term abundance. But they also wanted me to give you an energy read. So I have a very keen ability within my clairvoyance. I kind of know how the parameters of the collective are working with certain ideas, certain energies, thought process. So the idea of the abundance that's being held by the collective, unfortunately, does not meet the requirements for an accelerated expansion. It is a slow, arduous, slug-like expansion because you're too focused on materialism. So I wanted to give you an idea of what my type of abundance is, and I want you to think of it differently. Okay, so the difference between what you would read in the context of a definition or whether it's materialism, let's downscale it to something more holistic. So the holistic idea of abundance, from what I have seen or what I remember from a holistic point of view, is to cultivate, to yield, to have overflow. What does that symbology really reference to? Kind of like a farmer, if you want to think about it. You have your realm. You cultivate your soil, the very ground you walk on. You plant your seeds, you watch it grow, and there's the cultivation. You see the fruit of your labor because it takes creativity. You have to create however, like certain geometrical patterns. And then you also have to do crop rotations to make sure that the soil never depletes. So there's a mathematical formula, but there's also an energetic formula from a holistic perspective. And then over time, you see that abundance. That is what the humans are missing here. They all see it. Your angelics, your archangels, your Christs from the higher realms. They see what you're missing. It's about the inner abundance and the relationships to share the abundance from action through frequency. And you're not there yet. Many of the populace don't understand this new holistic idea. They do know, many of you, and I did write it down, and this applies to a lot of you and those that have made comments on the show. So, shit talkers, calling you out, liars, people who have no value for themselves, right? Having self-respect to respect others' opinions, whether you agree or disagree. That also factors in a type of energetic abundance. You're not yielding anything within that energy. You're actually taking from in a very low vibratory format. So because of that, you, those that it applies to, do not meet the requirements for the abundance. So, and then what's going to happen is you're going to have many energy dynamics. And because of this, many of you are going to fall for hooks, hook, line, sinker principles. So they shared and showed me some interesting ideas, but I'm not going to tell you what they are because that's for you to figure out. I already kind of know what a lot of the problems the humans are going to have as we move forward into this, what you would call new type of format, era, whatever you want to call it. So positivity will be many of yours, truly, your downfall. To be agreeable without thought through your materialistic abundance, you're going to lose a lot. And you're not gonna, it's going to be kind of too little too late. Because there's such thing as a sweet spot where certain identities and certain ideas, they're still going to take, but they're going to get caught. They're supposed to get caught, but they're going to take because it's like gambling or alcoholism. It's an addiction. They can't break out of that shell. It's inevitable. So many of you, because you don't have this higher holistic elevated abundance type of concept, you're going to fall short and you're going to pay for it. But it's not just you. It's going to be your family too, because they share within your realm. If you're not careful, if you're not paying attention, and if you don't embody a greater magnitude of what it means to be human. So, and this is not me being fearful. This isn't me projecting. This is just me relaying the information from what my guides gave me. I thought it was good. I was like, yes. And usually when I talk, a lot of people don't like to hear me talk, but that's okay. They say, go ahead. We want you to point out these people that lack in those ideas, and this is why they will fall short, because they don't know how to be respectful. So anyway, none of it matters, as Wyatt said. If it could be 2-4 weeks old, you're just seeing reruns. Think of it that way. Just ground, soul search, inner work. Be prepared, be centered. Oh, and most importantly, and they did emphasize on this, the way being positive in the future isn't gonna cut it on a higher game board. You cannot be positive all the time because you are sending out signals. Dark and light are interchangeable. Dark does not go away. The dark does not go away. I have to say this again, so pay attention. Dark is always a part of light. If you are vibrating high and you're booming in energy and positivity, they will see you. They will find you and they will take you down a peg, because that's energy dynamics. And there's no rules except for source's rules, which there is none. You create the rules. Neutral is going to be your new superpower, neutrality. You can have your high moment, have it when you have it, but then you zero it out, you become the ghost. You are a ghost to all of them. They cannot find you, they cannot take your energy, they cannot drop you down a peg. You're invisible. That is your new way to navigate the things you cannot see. And just so you know, the humans, even of 4D and 5D, they haven't quite got it yet. They're not good at navigating the unseen realms. They're not, because they're still playing with what we play here. A lot of it is materialistic, surprisingly. It's not perfect, but at the same time, nothing says that no one can't stop growing. Even if it takes the human collective concept another million, billion, or trillion years, eventually we'll get there. But until then, pay attention and take in consideration as to what I said, because this is going to help you during the rest of your life. That's it.
Thank you, fascinating Brian. We appreciate it. As usual, your insight is very unique, and it comes from the heart. So when Brian is talking, please keep in mind that he has the love for you all, and he wants nothing but the best for you, as I do. Ladies and gentlemen, right now at this time, I present to you Dame Lillian Walker, and her and I are going to discuss about the patches. The patches. Let's talk about the patches. Okay? Look here. Look here. The patches. Okay? I'm wearing them every day. My son says I'm looking for attention because I usually wear them on my face, on my forehead, or right here on my cheeks. But yeah, the truth of the matter is they work, and I'm going to give you a secondhand testimony from Maria number one, Lillian, and that is that her mom is talking all the time. Okay, we're talking about a lady that's in not good shape, and she's barely can communicate somewhat, but now she's talking all the time and talking about going dancing and waiting for some guy to. So I mean, there's consciousness that's coming up. Her consciousness is raising, and this is from a very seriously ill woman. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good sign. I don't know about you guys, but anyway, it's all you, Lillian. Go ahead.
Well, thank you very much, Chance, for having me here tonight. And I got to tell you, every time I hear these testimonials, these before and afters, the results of people wearing the patches anywhere from 2-3 minutes to a week, a 2, or a year. Believe it or not, I'm always surprised. And you would think that I'd be used to it by now. And you know what? Everyone is so different. I'm always amazed at the efficiency of how no one is so special that it doesn't work, because those are the building blocks of life, those master smart cells. And those are the ones that are activated the moment you put a patch on your body. It's instant. It automatically turns it on. We see it in people and humans, but we also see it in animals, and animals don't have belief systems. So there's no placebo effect on a horse, a cat, a dog, a parakeet. So that makes me very happy. And I just got back last night from speaking at the London Power Forum, and I was teaching and training doctors and holistic care practitioners, and many of them had invited some of their patients to come to learn and to explore about this life-saving technology. And so we had some of those new people come on stage who were suffering in pain. There was one gentleman who had suffered with back pain all day long. And then it was my turn to go on there. And the thing that I was teaching the doctors and the holistic care practitioners are the basics of patch placement. And so this guy came up, and every single person, we even had a lady who had a broken toe. She took off her shoe and she showed her broken toe that was bandaged up. And she was, hobbling up as she came up on stage. And I do have video footage. I need to watch it myself. But it was amazing to me how every single person that came up, literally, I had them drink a glass of water after we patched them. They walked 50 yards. They came back and they're like, oh, this gentleman, the first one, he had a pain level of a 9 or a 10. And he said his pain level dropped to a 5. And he wished that I had spoken earlier so he could have been at least in relief all day instead of having to wait towards the afternoon for me to speak, because I didn't come on until 3:30 in the afternoon. So the patches work if you apply them, and you got to drink the water. And that's the bottom line. They work if you work them, if you actually put them on. You'll notice today, I don't normally wear this many in the front, but I was doing a demo for someone earlier because I do have my other set of 5 that are on the back. And so this was for a demonstration. But if you have any issues having to do with any kind of thing that's not right in your lungs, that's a good thing to do. You take the Fantastic 5, put them on your lungs. I've had people who were about to be put on a respirator, who weren't put on a respirator in a hospital, and instead were sent home because they're all to breathe. Things cleared up. So, Chance, do you have any questions, or does anybody have any questions? I know we've had some great feedback also from Wyatt and from Doc G and from Brian and so many others.
No, I've noticed the comments coming up on the screen during the show tonight. I've noticed that a lot of people say I'm looking younger. I still see the wrinkles, but I've been concentrating on my face and putting them here and here. And the reason I've been doing that is, and right here under my neck. And the reason is I'm trying to concentrate on getting some elasticity back in my skin so I can, look like this instead of looking like my face is falling down to the gravity. And the other thing is, I'm noticing that I'm having problems with sinus draining. So if I have them up here and I can get my sinuses cleared up, I think it will get better. Yeah, that's where I usually wear them.
So that's yeah. So you take the Ice Wave patches, or if you take X39 and 49, and you don't mind wearing them here during the day. Some people don't want to be seen during the day wearing them here, but some people, they're like, oh, I don't care. I just want, my health is first. It just depends. Everybody's different. But you put them on there and it'll clear your sinuses. I've had people who have had chronic sinus issues and we don't make any medical claims because we don't treat, cure, heal, diagnose, or offer protocols. But I'm just recounting and telling you the feedback that I got from one of our one of our biohacking scientists. And Jody, for the better part of her adult life, always had sinus issues. And then shortly after she started on the patches, she moved. And in the process of moving, she got sick and her head got congested. And she's like, oh, Lillian, I just got my patches. And it's like, I've got this terrible sinus headache. And he's like, where should I put the patches so I can get some relief? She goes, it normally takes me 6 to 8 weeks to clear this sinus thing up. I'm like, it'll happen a lot faster now that you've got the patches. So I had her put the Fantastic 5 on her neck bump, and then she took Ice Wave, put the tan on left, white on right. The same day, like 30 minutes later, she called me back. She's like, my sinuses are clear. I go, yeah, because you have a negative and a positive energy that's pulling and pushing the energy inside your head, and that's clearing things out. So by the end, it wasn't even 5 days. By the end of that week, she called me up again. She was texting me every day, but then she called me up again. She's like, you're not going to believe this. She goes, but all my I have no sinus issues whatsoever. And it always takes me 6 to 8 weeks to clear up any kind of sinusitis that I have. And I'm fine. And it's only been 5 days. I said, yeah, because you're wearing the patches, you're detoxing while you're replacing and repairing. You're getting to the root cause, and your original blueprint from when you were conceived is replacing and resetting and restoring everything. She goes, these patches are amazing. And I go, I would agree with you. You're right. They are amazing.
Okay, Lillian, we got some questions. Lady wants to know which ones are the Fantastic 5. That would be 39, X49, and what are the other?
39, 49. Then you have glutathione, carnosine, and eon. Those make up the Fantastic.
And those are the ones that I use every day.
Those are the ones that I use every day. Mm-hmm. And then I gifted you also an Ice Wave. And I believe I also gifted you an energy enhancer, because remember you were wearing the energy enhancer. That's a great one to enhance your energy. It regulates your heart rate variability, and it improves your lymphatic system. So that is a fantastic patch to wear. I wear that daily. And it's a 2-patch system, just like Ice Wave. But go ahead, Wyatt.
With my dad, the energy has actually helped insofar as his blood pressure.
Because of the heart rate variability. And
right, yep. It regulates everything. I'm telling you now, these patches are amazing. And there's a lot of interest. And I do know that there are people who would not normally be in here today. But Lillian and I have been and Kerry Lee and I have been talking about the possibility of a seminar in August. Mm-hmm. So for people wanting information, we're trying to get expressions of interest. So if you drop me an email or Lillian an email, let us know how many of you are interested, because we need to have 500 people turn up at minimum to cover costs. And we're I don't know what it might be $20 to get in.
Yeah,
but
every single person who shows up, just like at the London Power Forum, every single person that shows up, we will make sure that every single person gets patched, and we'll get their pain level down 50 to 100%. Whether they buy patches or not, that doesn't matter. The thing is to get them in relief that day. That's the number one. At least they'll have 1 day of relief where they'll go like. As soon as I get that video up, if you're on my YouTube channel, Love and Money Secrets TV, you'll see the videos going up. But you'll see that every person that was on stage that I brought up, including that lady with a broken toe, who then she was actually, I couldn't believe it. She was actually like jumping on stage, and people, like, you should have heard the gasp in the whole room, because there's about 300-400 people there. And everybody went, oh, because no one expected her, like I expected her to just walk on the foot and not hobble. And she was like jumping on her foot. I was like, oh my gosh, because her toe's still broken, but she didn't feel any pain. So she jumped on her foot. So so to me, that's astonishing. And her bone is regrowing. The cartilage, the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments are regrowing. And she has the pain relief because I put Ice Wave on her foot. And so it's very exciting. So in Australia, you guys you can text, obviously, chancemusic@yahoo.com. You can email Wyatt of Earp is it gmail.com? Wyatt of Earp?
@mail.com.
mail.com, and you can let him know that you're interested. We can start a wait list. For any of you who show up to the event and you bring 2 or more guests, there's going to be a special bonus for you guys, when we do that event. But we're going to be tacking down very soon here the event in August, and it's going to be phenomenal. And we will have a buzz. And I've already talked to Dr. Stacy about this, and I told Wyatt, I said, from that event, if everyone, because this has happened to us before, where we have an event and then the group grows, it almost doubles in size the next time. So if you want us to come back 3 to 4 weeks later, I'm willing to commit, as busy as my travel schedule is. I will come back to Australia 3 to 4 weeks, no more than 5 weeks later, and we will do another event. We just need to find a venue that's large enough to hold it, or have a 2-day event so that one group of people can show up one day and another group of people can show up the other day. We want to get the Australians out of pain, just like the rest of you, just like Wyatt has experienced and Chance.
Well, just as I said, we just need expressions of interest at the present moment. Okay. And Chance wanted to say something.
No, I just want to say that I appreciate Lillian coming on, and we're trying to limit it to 12 minutes because I want to give my report about the guy that didn't die in 1959, and then we got Dr. Wiedemann coming on in 10 minutes. So I want to thank Lillian very much for coming on, and if you want the patches, I can get them for you. Send me an email at chancemusic@yahoo.com, and I will forward you on to Ann or Lillian or both. And please include your phone number so that they can call you right away, and we can get you the patches going as quickly as possible.
With your country code.
Thank you, Dame Lillian. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on.
Okay, God bless you, honey.
God bless you.
Okay, guys. Right now, we're going to have the big reveal about the celebrity that died in 1959 who didn't. Doc, go ahead and put up the picture of Warner von Braun.
Let me get it again. Finish talking. I got to find it again. Hold on.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that I started on in 1970. And all I had was a telephone and a few bucks, and ordered death certificates and ballistic reports. And I was doing private investigation for a couple of different insurance companies on a part-time basis. So I was pretty good into digging into stuff. And I got a copy of the ballistics report and the autopsy report of Mr. George Besselow, most famously known as George Reeves, the first Superman on TV. One of the reasons why I wear the S all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, he did not die in 1959. Tyler Hansen, who has the YouTube and TikTok and Facebook page that shows all the celebrities who became other people. Ladies and gentlemen, Werner von Braun is George Reeves. He did not die in 1959. Another thing that makes me very, very happy about this, because he was my hero, but he wanted to escape. What is it he wanted to escape? He was absolutely inundated with his mother's constant have to be close to him. She moved all the way across from Galesburg, Illinois. She moved all the way to California to be close to her son. And then he had 2 other women in his life. And Reeves did not die. Just wait a minute. I'm getting on. Okay.
Looks like
they had 2. All this stuff is very researched.
Yep, we've lost Chance.
Chance, we lost you.
Yeah, well, so Werner von Braun, was not a person who was known prior to the death of George Reeves.
If I can get him back, hold on. Go ahead. Get Finish. I got him back.
So, here he comes. Okay, there he is.
Okay.
Go, Chief.
Warner Von Braun showed up in 1961, I believe. And you got to remember, Walt Disney was tied in with George Reeves and was tied in with NASA. And a lot of the special effects that you see come from the Disney NASA collaboration. George wanted to escape, so he was approached and gave him a way out. And as you can tell, you compare the pictures side by side. It's not a hard stretch to believe that he is George Reeves. Okay, and what really put it all together for me is all the details that I got from my investigations back in the 70s when my kids were little. And I just never felt right about his death. I felt there's more to this. Well, Warner Von Braun has a son.
Here comes
Now,
the boom.
we're seeing the real son or not in public remains to be seen, and I don't think we are. The real son was Elon Musk. Okay? Follow me on this. George loved kids. He loved them. Everything that he knew that the kids followed the show. And the first season of Adventures of Superman was too dark. He wanted to go into a lighter show because he knew of all the little kids and he loved kids. He was always going to orphanages and making public appearances. He didn't make no money doing that stuff. And he'd go and do wrestling matches with Gene LaBelle. I don't know if you know who Gene LaBelle in the wrestling world was. Gene died just a few years ago, but Gene LaBelle was an accomplished wrestler, and George would wrestle him in a public forum as Mr. Kryptonite, and of course Superman would always win. And that's why when he showed up on I Love Lucy, he says, "Hiya guys, who wants to wrestle?" They all wanted to wrestle. He loved kids. He never had any until he died. Okay, and the woman, Elon Musk's mother, which I know nothing about, I know she's still alive. She's probably the only one that can elaborate any of this. But he did have children. The Adventures of Superman fan clubs always thought that he was not capable of delivering the goods. That wasn't the case. And I am when Wyatt and I put this all together on Monday, I just felt so. He says, Wyatt says, well, Elon Musk's dad is Warner Von Braun, and I said, wait a minute, that's the guy that George Reeves became after he supposedly died. There's sketchy things. There's other sketchy things that happened after George Reeves' death. The summer camp photos and not wanting to bury his body. It was almost 2 years before his body was buried. And so anyway, there it is, folks. Wyatt and I have uncovered the truth about George Reeves, who died as Warner Von Braun in 1977. Is this true, or is it just fantasy? You'll have to use your own discernment. This is for entertainment purposes only. But is it? Okay? Because I'm very completed from my childhood hero knowing that he finally had to have a family. Now let's talk about Elon Musk. Okay, Elon Musk is a role that's being played by several different people. But first of all, I'm going to tell you this is my opinion that Elon Musk is not only Christopher Reeves playing the role because he needed to escape too. And wasn't it funny how his wife died of secondhand cancer smoke? That was, oh my gosh. Yeah, I get it. I know. I saw that picture too. But isn't it funny that Christopher Reeves' wife died from secondhand smoke cancer? Oh, come on. That's a stretch. So I believe Christopher Reeve and John F. Kennedy Jr. are playing the role of Elon Musk and maybe a couple other actors that I haven't been able to figure out yet. But anyway, isn't it funny how this all kind of circles back to the big red S? I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. How does Superman have anything to do with politics? Obviously it does. And when we find that information out, we will share it with you. Okay?
It's
And
symbolic.
like I said, this is for entertainment purposes only. So,
But
yeah,
you said it
yeah,
before.
Brian.
You said it before, Chance. It's symbology. The S stands for, it is a type of spiritual hope, right? So it's got, like, think of it as Superman is not, he's a guardian. So he has a guardianship to protect the people. So he holds the status of the guardian. So he's a protector. So that's what I believe the S stands for. It's like a super guard. So he's nearly invincible. He can go above and beyond, and he is for the best in good, in the good, in the essence of good, of like human nature and what like humans can evolve into. So I do like the idea of that emblem. It's a very powerful statement.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, Chance. Like as we were discussing on Monday night, we're looking at Elon Musk and Werner von Braun, and you take a look at Elon Musk and his interest in space. There's a connection between him and Braun there, von Braun there, and then of course Elon starts up a company called Tesla, which has links back to Nikola Tesla, because it's the same technologies. This is all the forerunner for flying cars and all this other stuff. So, everything is not a coincidence. There is no such thing as a coincidence. It may be circumstantial, but it's certainly not a coincidence. But yeah, this is all, George Reeves, Werner von Braun, Elon Musk, SpaceX, and Tesla himself, all interrelated, which is, and it's the symmetry of it is kind of beautiful, isn't it, Chance? Chance?
All I got to say is there's more to come. There's more mysteries. I would suggest, I don't buy everything Tyler Hansen puts out there, but I think there's more to this overall puzzle and game that we call life than what we can all figure out by ourselves. And Tyler Hansen's doing a wonderful job. Now, the other thing that I'm going to be devil's advocate and reflect on something else Tyler said in another video, that Superman represented Satan. And I thought, I even said, hey, you crossed the line when you went there with Superman. Okay, how do you beat truth, justice, and the American way? And I told him that. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get Tyler, who is a very famous flat earther. I'm going to try to get him on the show. If anybody knows him, he lives in Florida. I'm going to try to contact him through Facebook, and I'm going to try to get him on the show because I think he would be a fascinating individual to have on this show. And he's going to open a lot of eyes. And if you're not following him, go and follow him. Now, I do want to give you a clue. Tyler Hansen, if you're listening, I tried to subscribe to your private page where all the videos that Facebook would take down, where they don't seem to bother you on the subscription side of it. And I can't subscribe. It will not let me subscribe. And why is that they won't let me subscribe? Because I got a big mouth and we got this show here? You think that would be it? Yeah, I think so, because I've tried to subscribe. So Anyway, Tyler, you're welcome to come on the show. And Jeffrey Starter says there's a continent over the second ice wall called Teslanesia. Works for me. I mean, who am I to argue with that? You know, but here's the thing. Here's another thing. Let's address this question. Tomorrow night, all the planets line up with the moon, bringing in the age of Aquarius. No longer just the dawning. It's finally here. Is this one of the events we've been waiting for? Well, from a certain perspective, I would say yes. But depending on your perspective of our universe, Brian could agree or he could disagree. Wouldn't you say, Brian? You could go either way on that?
Subjectively, yes. It's about your point of view. So
that's exactly right.
Everything has energy potential. Everything is considered a portal, surprisingly. So how you view that energy, how you use the energy is dependent on you. So you use it for the best elemental property, right? You use it to reflect what you want to see as, the future human walking this planet. But yeah.
Okay, so I guess Dr. Wiedemann isn't coming on tonight because I sent him the link and he hasn't jumped on yet. So if that's the case, that's fine. And we got 9 minutes left to the show. We're not going to talk about Princess Diana right now, okay? The reason we're not is because there is so much that is coming out this month. We're all going to have a better perspective on what really happened to Princess Diana after this. But just remember, on the island where she's supposed to be buried, have you seen her gravesite? Because there's a giant Q on her gravesite. Okay? So, just when you think you got it figured out, just when you think George Reeves killed himself, just when you think one of his girlfriends killed him, just when you think Christopher Reeves is dead, you're going to find out different things. You're going to find out different things. You're going to find out that Chucky Schumer, who appears to be male, is appearing to be male. Now, think about what I said there. He's appearing to be male, and his wife is appearing to be female. Think about it. Just like the governor of Maine. He's a nice lady. He's a really nice lady. The governor of Maine, I don't even know his name, but he's an all right guy for a liberal, right? Okay. You didn't know I was going to go there, did you, Wyatt?
No, but President Trump did, and he was saying pretty much the same damn thing.
I know. I was just waiting for the background music of "Dude looks like a lady," come back on. You're welcome, Jeff P. All right, listen. I'm just overwhelmed with this show tonight. It's a pleasure to be participating in it. It's a pleasure to have you gentlemen on here. Doc G, what are your final thoughts for tonight?
Considering I didn't say anything the whole show, boy, I got a lot to say. But what I want to say is I've never been so happy and been so sad for people since I've seen things that are unfolding like we're supposed to. I've been very, very happy about it, but I've been sad for people that haven't been able to see the happiness that I see. So I'm hoping that maybe, like you said, I think somebody said that one of their friends now sees that this is the right way to go. I mean, with all the waste and everything and spending and everything like that, as a financial coach, I can tell you, just seeing that waste taken care of helps me, helps everybody in this country. So thank you for that. Whoever's doing it. And it might be the Galactics. It may be whatever whoever it is doing it, but we know the game players that are doing it, and I can only thank them. But whoever's around them that are doing that, thank you, Pam, thank you everybody that's doing that. That's all I really got to say. I love the news. I listen to it, and I'm absorbing the good stuff, taking the positive from it, and bringing that out. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Doc. We appreciate that. Fascinating, Brian. What are your final thoughts for tonight?
Well, a little bit of show and tell. So I used to keep up with the Q posts, and I actually invested in 2 ideas physically that were in the Q post. Right? So there's Batman.
I love it. I love
0 Hour. So that's one issue that was in the Q post. And here's the other one. 0 Hour, another Batman comic. So it kind of goes to show you we're just around that corner, and who knows, maybe there'll be those reposts again very, very soon in March. You're going to see them. So I thought, why not? Because I even took a snapshot on those on my phone, saved them. Like, why not? It's for posterity, it's for history, and it's for your realm and belief system. Believe in it. Believe in your power. Believe in even these creative ideas, because they do have a formula. They are empowering. They have a statement. There is some subtle truth in everything, how we navigate our reality. So, if anything, I would like to encourage everyone, be your limitless God particle, right? You have a name. So use your avatar, keep moving forward. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. How about Wyatt? What's your final thoughts for tonight, sir?
Well, Chance, I think people just need to forget about the RV and getting rich and all of that. I mean, this is part of this whole thing. As I said earlier, it's about God's plan and the plan to rescue the children. That's what the predicate of all of this is. And we have to get back in touch with that, because people are losing their way. The gurus are not concentrating on that. They're only concentrating on the money. It's greed. It's frustrating. The other thing I want to say is to Doc. Without you, none of this is possible. None of this information is getting out to people. And I want you to understand and know how much Chance and I and Brian appreciate what you do for us and for everybody else. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen who are watching, you need to support Hamilton Radio, because it has to get this information out. There will be information coming out a long time after this, but somebody's going to have to talk about it or decode it or something at some point, because we don't know exactly how or whether people are going to understand it. Some people won't. So Hamilton Radio plays a big role in this great awakening, and in a way that when you think about the White Hats or the Military Alliance and SSP watching this show, monitoring it, that's huge. So please support Hamilton Radio. Lastly, from a personal perspective, I've got to step back a little bit. 4th of March is just next Wednesday. It's all going to happen then. It's going to be 0 day, and we've got to just just go along and let it happen. All right, and just relax. And as I said last week, we've got to prepare for the RV when we go in to do our exchanges. So play harp music. Okay. And lastly, Princess Diana, the grave, is in a lake. She's the lady of the lake, Camelot. She's related to the Kennedys. Okay. Bet you didn't know that, Chance.
No, I did not. Thank you for sharing.
Yep. There's a lot of people who are related to each other who are in the white hat community, and you'd be surprised by just who is related to who. So, but it's all going to come out at some point. But I want to know where JD Vance is. I haven't seen him ever since Elon started coming out on the picture. I mean, it's like he's evaporated into thin air. Where is JD Vance? And more to the point, who is
Janitorial duties.
who?
Everybody that I talk to says JD Vance's role is being played by John Ritter. Makes sense. Makes sense. The build, the size, the stature is very much the same. And just remember, Ritter was a very accomplished actor.
Hey, Chance, you know what we should do?
The tools. They give him the tools. He can do it.
Hey, Chance, you know what we should do? We should do a show just dedicated to who is who and who is playing who. I mean, that would go for a couple of hours easily.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll have Tyler Hansen on for that, okay? Because that guy's got it down, man, and then we can stop him and we can ask questions. And I don't really care about Lady Gaga. I don't care whether he has a dangling participle or not. I don't really care. It could be Paul Walker. That's a good one. That's a good idea. But anyway, Wyatt, it's a pleasure again to have you on. And keep coming on, even if you don't have any intel, because your input and your wisdom is always welcome.
No worries, thank you, Chance. Just as I say, I'm just not going to be doing intel, because we're there. We are there. We have entered the lobby, okay, of the building that we've never been in before. It's just now walking up to the concierge desk and saying, where have we got to go from here? That's it. So just let it happen, guys. Just seriously.
Thank you for your final thoughts. I appreciate it.
I'll shut up now.
No, you're good. You're good. It's all good. Okay, my final thoughts for today are: if you're in a bank and you got a lot of money in the bank, then get it out, because you're going to need it. You're going to need the cash when after March 4th comes and everything goes like this. Okay. Now, where is Kent? He's a commander on the SSP, and he doesn't have time to do a show, but when he does get things settled down, I've been told that he wants to come back. Okay. Vance might be a placeholder. That's right. We appreciate that. Now, here's the deal, guys. I appreciate so much everyone who has donated, but we still got to have donations to keep the show going and keep my lights on and, keep my refrigerator full. So anything that you can do, send a love offering to Cash App, $McFadden Chance, or you can send it through Wise to my email, which is chancemusic@yahoo.com. If you want an invitation to the private Telegram channel, send me an email to chancemusic@yahoo.com. If you want the RV protocol papers, which everybody is just raving over, then send $50 to the Cash App, $McFadden Chance. If you have any questions about anything, just do not expect a quick response from me, because like when I get done here, I'm grabbing a sandwich and I'm going to bed. Okay. I tell you what, the hours that I put in and the number of phone calls that I get from people, and I know I should have never give out my phone number, but I'm glad I did, because so many people need help and they need advice and they need direction. And I don't know why I was chosen by God to do this, but He's not leaving us. He'll be here every week, but he's just not going to concentrate on the intel because it's not
conducive.
Yeah, it's not. It's the intel's not going to be necessary. No, Gene Hackman was not suicided. And neither was his wife. All that's a bunch of bullshit. Okay.
I know what went on.
Guess what's coming out? We know what's
He was
coming out.
rescued. The man was a Marine, a colonel of the United States Marines, retired. He's been rescued. I'm telling you.
Yeah. It's thank you very much, Patriot Pam B. I really appreciate it. You guys, you don't know how much I love you all. You really don't, and you don't know how much we love doing this show. Okay. How about an acoustic guitar for the next raffle? You got it. Pick one out and I'll bring it in, and we'll have it the next show. We're going to do acoustic guitar raffle, and it'll be the same as last time, but we'll show you the guitar next week, and I'll play it for you, and we'll that way it'll help support Hamilton Radio, and that's what we want. We want you guys to support us, and we want to support you. Who knows? I might throw in a ukulele with the guitar. You don't know. You don't know what I'm going to do. I can do anything. I just, the last minute on this last raffle that we did, I just threw in an extra guitar and let the AI pick out the winner, and it was amazing. And Jennifer was so overwhelmed that she won the guitar that Hamilton Radio had, and then the other lady, I haven't heard from her yet, so we'd like to hear from you.
I think Jennifer's still dancing around in the streets, isn't she?
I think so. She sent me an email today. She says, "Is it safe to travel in March?" And I said, "I wouldn't."
Oh no!
Because
no!
No. Listen, guys. Baseball rules. Okay, safe at home. Baseball rules. Okay.
Just pay attention to what goes on in the world. That's really all you have to do. Like if you feel like, start using your intuition. You have all these abilities you have access to. You just need to practice using them. Most of the time you do use it, and your intuition is your gut. You get a gut feeling, whether you ignore it or you take action, go with the gut feeling. So,
absolutely.
But you have to be still in discernment to feel that idea. So use it. Yeah.
And while you are interpreting the energies around you and the vibrations around you and the frequencies, and going to bed and listen to harp music, which I do every night. Okay.
Yep.
Remember 520-741-8. Shlama, Shlama, Shlama. 520-741-8. Okay. I didn't write that song for the fun of it. I believe in that phrase, that frequency, those numbers breaking the matrix. And if you do too, then maybe we can break it together. We can cross on through to the other side. Remember our priorities. This is what I want you all to remember as our priorities. The human trafficking, number 1. Number 2 is the restoration of the republic. And number 3, the money is last. Who knows? With the restoration of the republic, we may never even need the RV. But it's coming because there are bondholders getting paid. They're
not going to let them say it. They're not going to.
It was my turn last week. Now it's Chance's turn this
They're
week.
not going to let him say it. Go ahead. Why? Do you know what he was going to say?
You're next one, I think. You'll be next week. You'll be getting this next week, maybe.
They never do me because I don't really say anything bad or good.
You don't say anything at all.
Well, that's true, but yeah.
Yeah, but
he's laughing. He's laughing. Let me try to get back on. Hold on. Yeah. Good. Chance, try again.
Here he comes.
Try again, Chance.
All right. Well, anyway.
Get it in.
Thanks. Thank you all very much. Huh?
Get it in. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, I love you guys. 520-741-8. Raise your vibrations. Raise your frequency. Raise your spirit. Okay?
Yeah.
Because
you got to finish what you're saying about the bomb hole.
is love, sweet.
Hey, Chance, finish what you were saying about the
About the
bondholders
what?
and whatnot. About the bondholders. About the bondholders.
Oh, the bondholders. Bondholders.
Yeah, can you continue finishing off on that?
Bondholders are getting,
You got cut off.
bondholders are getting paid very slowly, but they're getting paid. And it's just like Wyatt said last week. They're testing the system before they put it into overdrive. And it's going to be speeding up very quickly because Trump knows that the only way we're going to get this country back online is to get our financial system corrected. Okay?
Yep.
There's no other option. It's going to happen. It's just, when is it going to happen for me? When is it going to happen for you, for Brian, for Wyatt, for Doc? When is it going to happen for Lillian or Ann? We don't know, but it's all going to be in a different time. And our universe and our frequencies and our vibration matters. Okay? So I want to wish you all good night. I love you all very much. Thank you so much. God bless you all. We appreciate your donations. And we'll see you next week right here on HamiltonRadio.net, Hamilton Radio 1 on YouTube. And I don't know if we're on Facebook tonight or not. Are we, Doc? Yep, we are.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yeah.
Yay.
Okay.
So
All
they
right.
finally
Well,
got
I
back
love
to
you. I love you all, and I hope, Bernadette, when you're listening tonight, I hope you're feeling better. We know you're going through some trials and tribulations physically, and we love you very much. And you take care of yourself. A special thanks and shout out to Tara tonight, because the Tara called me this afternoon to tell me that the what do they call it? The contamination level of the air down in Mexico is very, very high. It's over 500, and 500 is the limit. There's something going on down at the border. And if I had to guess, the first thing that popped into my mind was, I think the cartel might be doing something because, Trump sent the military in there. So let's see how that plays out. We'll talk to you guys next week right here on HamiltonRadio.net.
They could even be poisoning the crops.
We don't know. And well, hopefully by next week we'll know something.
Oh,
I love you all.
Oh, we do.
God bless.
Bye, everybody.
Good night,
All
everybody.
right, see you next week.